Hey, super scientists, welcome back. All right, we are going to be beginning talking about ecosystems. All right, so what is an ecosystem? Well, an ecosystem is a community. You may have heard this word before. We're going to talk some more about communities. A community of living and non-living things interacting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about each of these things. In an ecosystem, we have biotic things, and biotic just means living. Use my parentheses. We learned about using parentheses. These are my living things. Now, we know living things have needs, right? So think about some things if you have like a pet or even like a little brother or sister. What are some things that they need? Not what they want. What do they need? Okay, well, all living things need food, water, air, shelter, and the sun. Did you say any of these? So living things, and we're going to talk more about these. All living things need these things to survive. Okay, so we have our biotic, our living things. We also have our abiotic. Can you guess what those are? We have our living things, our biotics. Our abiotics are our non-living. So our non-living things are things like rocks, dirt, air, water, and sun. These are things that are in our ecosystem and in our community, but they're not alive. Right? And I forgot to mention over here for our biotic. Our biotic things are like our animals, people, plants, even bacteria. We're going to be talking more about those and how they're important. Okay, so in an ecosystem, there is energy. Okay, and the energy always starts at the sun. And we're going to talk some more about this as we go, too. But the energy always starts at the sun, and it moves in one direction. Okay, so this is our energy. I'm going to do a different color. Let me do red to show our energy. It always moves in one direction. It never moves backwards. And we're going to talk some more about why that happens. But it always moves in one direction. Okay, so on my paper, I have this space down here, and I can use this to make a drawing of my ecosystem. I am going to choose instead to go on the back because I want plenty of space to make this nice and big and pretty. So you may choose however you want to do it. And I'm going to turn it like this just because I have my clouds from way back when we did the clouds. And I think when I write on them, it's going to make me poke holes through the paper. So I'm going to go like this and open this up. Okay. So we're going to make a little model of our ecosystem so we can see here. I'm going to do my circle. And I'm going to make some other circles in the middle. So I'm going to do 1. I'm going to do 2. And I'm going to do 1 more. A bullseye. This is my ecosystem. Okay, so we want to remember that an ecosystem is what? It is our living and non-living. We can't forget our non-living. Living and non-living things in a place. If I go outside, I'm going to see I can find an ecosystem in my yard. Okay, so we're going to start with the outside circle. This is going to be our ecosystem. Okay, so in my ecosystem, if I go out in my yard, I can see that I have trees. And today's kind of cloudy, but usually in my ecosystem in my yard, I can see the sun, and that's really important because it helps the trees to grow, among other things. I can see I have clouds up in the sky. It's really cloudy today, so I have lots of clouds up in the sky today. Water. I have water. There's water out there in my ecosystem. Oh, now I might also find, if I go and look hard enough, I might find a frog or two. It's my kind of goofy little frog. I think I'm going to have to write down next to this what this is so I know. My frog didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to, but that's okay. He looks pretty cute until I draw his legs. There, that's a little bit better. I have my frogs. And, I'm looking out my window right now, and I see a bird or two. So let me add a bird or two. Okay. So these are the living and non-living things in a place. And there might be different ones in your ecosystem, or if I move and look in a different ecosystem. But this is just an example. Okay, next we're going to move into the next ring. And we're going to talk about a community. We did mention a community back here, right? That an ecosystem is a community of living and non-living things. So let's talk a little bit more about a community. A community is all of a population in a place. So in my ecosystem outside, I might have 1, 2, maybe 3 trees. And I might have 2 flowers. Don't have a lot of flowers out there right now. Hopefully I'll have more once it warms up a little bit. And I might have some people. Let me do a different color. Oh, I don't want to do them green. I don't think I want green people. How about purple? Purple people. Let's see. My neighbors came over. They're in my ecosystem community right now. 3 people. And maybe when I look up in the sky, I see a couple birds. They're all in my ecosystem community. They're all living there happily. Now, in my ecosystem community, I also might have a population of something. Bet you've heard this word before. A population in an ecosystem is all of the same. All of the same. And that's the big key word here, is they need to be the same. All of the same species or organisms. Ooh, we're going to talk about organisms in just a minute. Species or organisms in a place. So in my ecosystem, I might have a population of fishies. And let's see, in my population, maybe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say 5, a population of 5 fish in my ecosystem. And in our ecosystems, we have organisms. I'm going to put organism. Oh, I'm going to have to write it kind of tiny here. Organism. An organism is a species in a place. So I may have a fish that is an organism living in my ecosystem. Okay, and there we go with ecosystems. Good job. We are going to learn more about ecosystems tomorrow.